Yeah, Jesus shows up in the MCU. Wouldn't that be crazy? Feige, we trust. Hell Feige.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a really weird scene with George Clooney when he builds this like Home Depot fuck machine. I'm a monkey with a wrench. I should not be fucking writing this shit.
Stick around, 'cause I am coming back. And I know someday I'm gonna make it big.
We talk about shit we talk about anyway. Just
seriously. That's the plan. That's the dream. But anyway, all right, let's get to the show.
I'm watching a new show. It's a funny dark comedy with Kristen Applegate. It's called Dead to Me.
Oh, I think I saw like
It's
a
pretty
post.
decent. Me and Shannon started watching it last night. It's only half-hour episodes, so we watched 2.
Who's the other female lead in that?
I don't. What is her name? She's been in a couple things. Dead to Me stars. I got this. I don't know what her name is. It's Christine Applegate and Linda Cardellini.
Yeah, she's Hawkeye's wife.
Yes. That's it. That's where I knew her from.
Cardellini?
Yeah. I knew I knew her from. But it's actually pretty good. It has. I don't want to spoil anything. If you want to, it's only a half-hour show, so if you don't like the first episode, you're not investing too much.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. It's like a dark comedy, though. It's all about her husband dying. Kristen Applegate, her husband dying. She's a rich widow, 2 kids. It's just pretty cool. It's like her husband died by some hit and run driver, and then the girl, she goes to some support group for husbands or
spouses, like widowers or something, or widows,
spouses dykes or something, and she meets Linda. So that's
how Cindy's mom and Cindy's grandmother and grandfather met.
But it has some twists in it, even in the first 2 episodes. It almost feels like a drama, but it's only a half-hour long, so it's kind of weird, but it's funny. It's good. Netflix, yeah.
Those groups are always so.
You could probably watch that. I think Cindy would enjoy that.
Yeah,
you and Cindy, it would be a nice little like half hour. If you don't dig it after the first episode, you'll know after the first episode if you like it or not.
And who cares?
And then who cares? Half hour. So we were just talking about Marcus. It sucks when you get invested in a show that's like, somebody suggested The Order to me on Netflix. It's werewolves and vampires, and I'm like,
whoever suggested that to you should.
I know. I gave it an episode. I was like, all right, it's not my genre, but I'll give it a couple more because I don't want to X something out after 1 episode.
Yeah.
I got to 5, and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit, dude.
It's so bad.
How many episodes? How long are the episodes?
There's an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's like 3 seasons of it.
Good thing I didn't get to there. It was like it's like bad. Like you remember old sci-fi? How do I equate it? Old sci-fi shows.
Yeah,
like bad sci-fi.
That's
shows.
where Sharknado came from.
Yeah, but pre-Sharknado, it's just like bad like that.
Yeah.
It's bad. All these shows, The Order, the originals, and whatever else she's watching now.
What about The Magicians?
I haven't seen that one.
I like The Magician.
Yeah?
I did 3 seasons, but that's an acquired taste. I'm not going to say anybody would. There was actually books.
Yeah.
And I never read the books, but supposedly the show does a better job than the books. That's what this one reviewer did.
Oh, wow.
It's a decent show. It's not, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's not horrible.
Yeah. Deadly Class, that's the one that's the standout on sci-fi for me.
You said that. I haven't picked it up yet. That and Krypton, but I still believe Krypton shot its load.
Yeah, Krypton just dropped the trailer. Well, let's get into it. Let's.
Real quick, did you? Because I know we're going to talk about Game of Thrones, but did you see what they left out?
Yeah. Left in,
exactly. It's a better point. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, that shit happens though.
Of course.
But seriously though, in this big production of the last season, somebody's getting in trouble.
But in the big production is when it happens because there's so many people and there are so many people have their hands in it, and like the 3 interns who actually spot that don't want to be the ones who, okay, now we got to go reshoot this and
all you got to do is edit that out in computers though. It looked cheesy, but it's better than seeing a coffee cup.
true.
Not unless they were trying to promote something and get around it. Oh, it's an accident.
Yeah, what was that? Was like the Fiji girl at the Oscars, I think, like that. She kept getting she was like photobombing everybody. There's this woman with Fiji water.
Imagine that they had an underlining deal with Starbucks. Nobody knows about it.
That's a shitload of money for that deal, though.
No, I'm telling you, it's like the biggest show in
17 million viewers or something like that.
Oh, Starbucks got an uptick this week.
Stars, like, if they'll sometimes do that thing where it was on Entourage.
Well, because they're paid.
They'll drop it, but they'll weave it in, and sometimes even the shows and the hosts don't know.
Yeah.
They'll like be getting interviewed on like Kimmel or something like that. It's like, I don't know how many times I've had Lagunitas, but they're delicious and I drink them all day or something like that. Of course, it's a little less obvious.
Well, and they also get sued if they drink the wrong product in public. Britney Spears got sued. This was like 10, 15 years ago when she was specifically for Pepsi Diet, when she did all those commercials. She got caught drinking a Coke in public.
No shit.
On TV.
Dumbbell.
So Pepsi sued her for $6 million.
Jesus.
But that's her handler's problem.
Oh, yeah. But still, I mean, if somebody signs me up a contract to drink shit beer, for $6 million, I'm drinking that shit beer and I'm loving it.
Yeah, be a closet IPA person.
And you know what? If you want me to be an IPA person, I'll just cover it up with that fucking beer and be like, oh, Miller Lite's so good.
Said no one ever.
I saw what's in your fridge.
Yeah, that's for
that was for me.
Comes over.
That was for me originally. I was a Miller Lite drinker.
Dude, yeah, we converted you.
My fault.
Dude, when my parents when my family used to come up to PA, they all live in New Jersey, so you can get a 6 or a 12 pack. Now PA's changed a lot, but it was a pain in the ass, man, because my sister would drink Coors Light, my mom would drink Miller Lite, and my brother would drink Bud Light, and I couldn't buy.
There's no variety packs.
I couldn't buy case. Everything was by the case, right, in PA. Unless you went to a bar. And then I have to go to a bar and pay premium price for shit.
You might
beer.
as well just load up because beer lasts forever. So, well, I think it does. I don't know.
And that's why I got those Miller Lights in the beer
You don't
fridge.
know with any of those beers.
Yeah, right. I have beer in my fridge, Miller Lite, just from the parties in the summer, still sitting there.
Yeah, and I'm like I'm not a fan of Coors Light, and I don't even mind, like, I call them lawnmower beers. Hot day, you want to quench your thirst, you just pound one of those things. It's like drinking a thing of water. Yeah, anyway, let's get to the show. All right. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Nick, Jon, and Jamie Show. I am John.
I am Nicholas.
And we are without young Jamie. Actually, young Jamie's on the Joe Rogan show. He's probably trademarked this. Young Jamie.
So don't say that, man. We're too small to get sued already.
So the almighty and all-powerful Joe Rogan, he'd come down and slam me. But we do have a special guest. He's a returning guest. My friend and neighbor, Marcus, from the proverbial darkness. Welcome to the show, Marcus.
What's up, guys?
So, Marcus, you're on the show, and I let you in the house, down in your mother's basement.
The crypt.
The bodies are in that freshly poured concrete over there. And you didn't see Endgame.
No,
I don't even know how he got in the house. Seriously.
That's what I mean.
So I warned when John texted me earlier. It's like, first thing I said is, I haven't seen Endgame yet.
That's true.
We already did spoilers, so it's not like we can go back and not do it.
But you're okay.
Yes, I'll live.
You're okay because according to the Russos, the ban has been lifted as of Monday, as of today.
I got spoiled already before that.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks, man.
It does.
That's the one thing I was terrified of getting when I didn't get a chance to go with you guys on opening night.
Yeah.
I was so afraid some asshole was going to spoil it for me.
Well, and then you were saying last episode, you said that you had read that people were spoiling on their way out of the theater.
And one dude got beat up.
Yeah.
I think the guy that got beat up, like, legitimately, like, went out of his way to spoil it.
That's the biggest dick move, because you're that invested in it to go to, like, an early showing. So clearly it's important to you. And you're just going to blow it for everyone else's in the next showing after you. That's the biggest stick.
I told you what LaShawn McCoy did. You know who LaShawn McCoy, the old Eagles running back? He tweeted it.
What a dick.
He's a womanizer. He's a piece of shit.
What a dick.
Real life. But I don't want to get into that. But It sucks you didn't see it. You got to get even if you know the ending. And
No, I'm still gonna see it.
You got it. I'm going to see it the second time whenever I get around to it because I know you saw it a second time, and it's probably even more fantastic.
It gives you a chance to look around.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
You know what we talked about about how Captain Marvel got an uptick?
Yeah.
That's what Tickner did. He saw Captain Marvel
really?
Saturday night, and then Sunday morning he saw Endgame.
No shit. He's legit.
But anyway, yeah, it's
yeah. So
it's going to break the record.
It did.
No, all time. Avatar still has 279.
Yeah,
it only has like 500 million to go. Only.
Yeah,
but that was after
gonna happen.
46 days, or
yeah, it was out for like 4 months or so. Not 4 months. I'm like, it's like
it was crazy how long it was out, and it did have that advantage. A lot of people shit on that movie. I enjoyed the fuck out of Avatar. I saw it in 3D and IMAX, got the whole immersive experience. It was a little bit of a cheat in comparison because, the IMAX 3D experience was being sold for anywhere from $15 to $18 a ticket. Yeah, that helps. And it was in the theaters for quite a bit. So there's a reason why it made $2.78 billion.
I think it was just like you said, it's an experience. It's like going on a ride. And Avatar, that's what it was. It's not like Endgame. Endgame's a cinematic. I think, from my perspective, over 10 years, if you take the whole scope of it, it's like a masterpiece how they put it all together.
Yeah, the movie, and that's the other thing. You had this significant investment, and they're good movies.
Yeah.
But you had this investment to where that's why it sucks so bad if someone spoiled it. You're like, man, the culmination of 21 movies, and you're going to F me right at the finish line.
11 years, yeah. It's just,
I mean, they're not even, the Russo brothers are going on record. They're like, and Marcus and McFeely, the writers, are like, we didn't do end credits because that would lead you to believe that there was a continuation of this saga, and this is it for this phase or this series.
You know what stinks is, and they probably won't even get nominated, but they should win Best Directors.
Yeah,
because to put all this together nice and neat the way they did, how many directors could ever pull that off?
Yeah.
I mean,
a couple, maybe
all time. I'm talking. I'm not just talking about alive right now.
But
I mean,
it's not even directors. It's you've got to get the whole company on the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just like one or two good movies that we made a bunch of money on, like 10 years. Billions of dollars invested in it. You've got to get everyone on the same page to go along with this.
But it's like what we always talk about. Some artsy film that will probably only make $30 million total gross will win Best Picture or Best Directors. And you're like, really?
Yeah, it's a different category, I think. It's
But something like this is... that really... I'm sorry. I get all the other... The other movies,
the artsy fartsy movies.
No, I just get all the other Marvel movies and all the other comic book movies why they don't win. But to put something together like this extravagant and interweave it the way they did, it's probably the most accurate. No, I'm not no physicist or anything, but most accurate time travel movie they could do.
Yeah, and I think it's not so much about I think it's just the feat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, name a trilogy that really hit it out of the park with every movie. Even
Star Wars. Return of the Jedi. I was watching it on May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
You watch Star Wars and Empire. They were like, it was really weird. Then I went to Return of the Jedi, which was my favorite growing up. Now I really rethink that whole thing. Because it's just the way both the first two movies were shot. It was had a good flow to it.
Yeah,
and it didn't seem it holds up with time.
Yeah,
but Return of the Jedi doesn't hold up well with time.
Yeah, it's a little campy.
It is. Where you look at the Luke Skywalker boot kick thing. When he's I mean, now they're saying it's a force kick, but really, that wasn't really supposed to be a force kick. It just was bad filming.
Yeah.
But stuff like that in the movie, it just didn't blend well. And I think one of my biggest regrets, and I think Lucasfilm's biggest regret, is they didn't get what's his face to direct it at the time. He wasn't allowed to.
I know who you're talking about.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
He was supposed to direct it, but he got
The
held
Return
up.
of the Jedi, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
They wasn't allowed to, or he got.
It was
other
something to
shit
do
was
with the
in way?
directors union. He had prior commitments, and
okay.
it was something. And he tried to get out of them, but they wouldn't let him do it. So, and George Lucas really wanted him to do it, and he really wanted to do it, but
That would have been a totally different film.
might have been awesome. But anyway,
I mean, what about you, Marcus? I
Go
mean, a trilogy. Do you know a trilogy that's hit it out of the park? Every single film. And now, granted, not every single Marvel movie was absolutely stellar, but it was. They were
all above average.
yes.
Lord of the Rings would be the only one to
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Come on, that's your thing. That's your genre, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guillermo del
you're
Toro
right.
directed that, right?
Guillermo del Toro. That's
I
right.
swear to God, guys.
You can also say the Harry Potter.
Yeah, nah.
They had some ups and downs.
No,
Yeah.
they did, but I mean, I'm not saying quite to this level, but if you really want to think what really started this whole movement of long-term vision was probably the Harry Potter books.
Definitely set the pace.
Yeah.
I mean,
They proved that you could pull it off financially too.
Yeah, 7, 8 movies. I mean, they had obviously there was a long-term outlook when they
crush.
started the Sorcerer's Stone. It wasn't just going to be one movie.
They
yeah.
also had a lot more better direction with the books.
They did.
Like you just follow the books. The books are great, and the
Yeah.
books are for them. I think they cut a couple things out, but
Oh,
for the
yeah, it
most part,
wasn't
you
like
could just
crazy.
go page by page.
Yeah,
So, needless to say, the box office. I guess if you're living under a rock, this needs saying. But most people realize that the weekend box office, Avengers Endgame, obviously topped the box office. Not only did it top the box office, but it crushed a long-standing record held by Titanic. It leapfrogged.
second weekend?
In the second weekend, it went from, first weekend it did 1.2 billion. In the second weekend, it did almost 2.2. It did $2.18 billion. And just under about $1 million, or roughly $1 million, it beat out long-standing record that Titanic had. And it's gonna take number one, no doubt. I
it might get to the 3 billion mark by the time it's done.
yeah, and then it's gonna crush. And of course, that record, the number one spot's held by Avatar. Everything else was kind of secondary. You had The Intruder, which was this. I didn't know what it was. I had to watch the trailer, but it's Dennis Quaid plays a bad guy.
Heard it looks bad.
Yeah.
He was on Preston and Steve talking about it.
Was he? I like him.
I love
in his
him.
interviews.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I
Well,
love the stuff he's done.
He always does good, like, you ever get those movies that nobody knows about, but Dennis Quaid pops up in it. He's always good. Like The Rookie
Yeah.
was fantastic.
Yeah, The
Other
Rookie
movies,
was
that
good.
dog movie, It's a Dog's Life, he popped up in the end. It was a decent movie. He's
Inner
always
Space. That was way back when he went microscopic with Meg Ryan.
what about that Star one?
no idea what you're talking about.
I remember Inner Space. I do remember Inner Space.
Yeah.
Because who was the guy he was inside? It was Paulie. No,
It was
Pauly Shore.
Martin Short.
Martin Short. That's it. But he's always been in good. I always liked him.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But that took the second spot with $11 million. And then The Long Shot.
I want to see that.
I talked to somebody that saw it. He said it was decent. It wasn't great.
Critics are giving it good.
Yeah,
reviews.
that's like 80+% on Rotten and everything. So they're it's getting really good reviews. But it did the thing. I heard it does the thing that Something About Mary did, which is like it's basically a guy writing the ideal girl character.
Okay.
Like there's a part where
It's been a while since we had a movie like that.
yeah, so it might be warranted, but it's the premise is that you got Seth Rogen, who's this slebbish, like slubby. Well, I don't even know the word I'm talking about. Schlubby. That's it. Thank you, Marcus. Schlubby reporter who winds up getting busy and getting together with Charlize Theron. I think it's Theron.
Theron. I thought it was Theron.
I'm trying to church it up. And she's, I think, running for president.
Okay.
And so
I saw the trailer.
It looks cool, and he's like a press secretary for her, like or a writer for her for
Yeah,
speeches and stuff like
exactly.
that. She hires him.
yeah, but I think there's a part where like they're getting busy and she like gets real nasty, like nasty in a dirty way.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like it.
Like she's like, all right, I'm gonna flip over. Let's do it from behind, type of thing. Yeah. So,
Jamie's just going to go watch that just because of that.
she's
right
my
now.
hall pass.
Yeah, she is your hall pass. Now, she was on Jimmy Kimmel talking about the show. Was it Jimmy Kimmel or one of them late nights? And they asked him, how did you get hooked up with Seth Rogen and what's it like? I forget how she said she got hooked up with him to do the show, but he convinced her. But she goes, it's funny. Like, he's a brilliant guy.
Oh,
She goes, I didn't realize how smart he was producing and all that. I always think of the stereotypes of him smoking weed. That's what Jimmy Kimmel said. And she goes, oh, no, he did that. He got even smarter when he smoked the weed.
Yeah, that's the fucking crazy thing about
he's
it.
He's like way out there, but he's like knows his shit once he starts lighting up.
But the dude has an empire, man. He's got that weed business that he just purchased in Canada. He's pimping it out on Instagram
He
left and
owns
right.
it. You got to love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's never, ever since the funny movie,
Pineapple Express?
Knocked Up. No, I was going Knocked Up. Pineapple
Yeah.
Express, whatever.
Yeah.
Either one. He's always owned it, man. He's like, this is my lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Own the stoner head.
Yeah.
Stoner head lifestyle. Yeah, totally. But like, he's an entrepreneur, like a mofo, man. Like, he's got this business, this cannabis business up in Canada. He produces several Preacher's a killer show that he produces. He's way into comics. He's a comic book nerd. That's how come, he was so hard pressed to produce Preacher. And then, of course, he's got this movie career that people envy across the board. He's respected in the industry, and he smokes a ton of dope.
That's what I mean. He's respected in the industry. How many times can you said that previously when guys were like big stoners in the industry and they were well-known stoners?
Yeah.
They weren't that respected. He is.
Yeah, Tommy Chong was still getting arrested in his 60s.
So
But he was still respected.
Yeah, he is still respected.
not to the level Seth Rogen is. I mean,
He kinda kept
he's a
his
heavyweight to a degree in Hollywood.
Oh, he's a major player in Hollywood
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, so that hit the number 3 spot with $10 million. Ugly Doll, which I have zero interest
I've
in.
never even heard of it.
$8 million. It's the animated feature.
See, that's like next month. There's nothing you can't release anything in the next month.
Well, Aladdin's
Unless you're
coming
gonna,
out.
Well, okay, maybe Aladdin.
And that will get a bump just because kids, like my wife's mom, my mother-in-law,
discount the program.
wanted to take my daughter to it. And I'm like, no. I get the first dibs on taking my daughter to any movie. I already told my wife that. And we're not going to see Aladdin because I just can't stand seeing Will Smith as a genie.
No, me either.
No.
It's bad. It's not good.
I don't think they picked the right characters for Aladdin and Jasmine. I said this before. I thought there's better choices out there.
They don't seem like good actors.
No.
Just from the credits. I mean, from the trailers.
It seems like it was forced.
And I had a little whiff of that from Captain Marvel too, and my suspicions were right.
Yeah, she sucks.
I'm not right about everything. You know that.
Yeah.
Although I have a fact check on you, motherfucker.
Ooh, shit, I'm in trouble. All right, you were waiting on this one, weren't you?
I save them up.
I know you do.
It puts me in my happy place.
Not for me. I haven't texted you about any in a while.
I know you've been good.
Well, he didn't see Endgame, so he can't give it
I
a
didn't
fast
see
check.
the last one.
But in May, you got Aladdin coming out May 24th. You got Detective Pikachu that's coming out this weekend.
I heard that was good.
I heard it doesn't look bad.
The trailers look great, but trailers can be incredibly
Did you guys see the Sonic trailer? I did. I was like, ew.
So
Well-
it's a little weird, but is there any right way to make that movie?
No,
I-
why would you even make that movie?
You've got to go completely ridiculous. Like there's got to be. So
you're right.
The design of the character, I agree, is kind of weird and probably not what most people think of when they think of Sonic. But they said that they were going to fix that. Everything else, sure, it's a Sonic movie. What do you really expect?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It should have been just like thrown right on Netflix or something like that. Why release in the movie theaters? It's going to bomb.
Because
Yeah.
it's going to be all CGI. You need the budget for that.
Yeah, this is true.
Were you guys into Sonic?
No.
No,
Like,
I was a Mario guy.
Well, I remember the first one of the first gaming systems that I got after. Like, I went through a little drought. I was in my early 20s. I wasn't into gaming that much, and then I sort of like, I'm going to get back into it. And the thing I picked up. No, you know what? I picked up Sega in my teens.
I was going to say, how old are you?
I'm 100 years old.
You picked up your Genesis in your early 20s in 1993?
It's like, and I remember that was the game that came with it.
Yeah.
And And then that's all I gave a shit about. And then when they had movies, like little cartoons and movies and stuff like that, I was like, I couldn't care less. But then my son, my 14-year-old, started playing Sonic, and he really got into it, and it got this whole new life, I think, with that age. And I think that's the market they're targeting.
I think the only games I really, really got into on like a story level were the Halo games.
Yeah.
I heard they were awesome. Yeah. I heard Halo. I never did it. I kind of lost my fight for video games early on.
Well, they hit me at the right time. Yeah. When the first Xbox and the first Halo game came out, I was like 13, 14 years old.
Oh,
so you've got nothing to do but play video games at that point.
You're not drinking. Yeah. You're
13, kinda, 14 years old? You weren't drinking yet?
No, not till high school.
Oh, yeah. I'll shut up.
Don't incriminate yourself, man. But what I am looking forward to, well, let's finish up the box office, and then I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to, and you guys can tell me if you're digging it or not. Last one was Captain Marvel. It did $4 million. It's still, that movie's it's obviously a
How much is it done total? I'm just curious. You got it up or no? If you don't have it up, don't worry about it.
I think it was neck and neck with Black Panther, right?
It's at $420 million domestic, and it did $1.1 billion worldwide.
So it's at 1.5?
I think they combined that, Nick. It's 700,000 foreign, and then 420. 420 what? Domestic. So it's the combined domestic and
it's not 700,000, 700 million.
No, it's just shy of 700 million.
You said 700,000.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
no, I know. I was just
live fact
being a dick.
You just fact checked me.
I did. I was
in real time.
I was being a dick.
So yeah, it's one of those things where back to the Sega thing. My son even saw the trailer, and he was like, and he's a fan. He was like he's stoked about it, and he's like, ick. It's just like, ew, it doesn't look right. And I hear they're actually responding to the feedback, which a lot of movie companies are doing now. They send out a trailer, they get feedback. They did that with X-Men when they did Apocalypse. Like, he was purple and he was not. They were comparing him to a villain on Power Rangers.
They should have changed the whole movie then.
I know, right?
You have Apocalypse and you still fuck it up.
I know, right?
You can't change the writing. You just change the hue here.
Yeah.
Right. Make the CGI guys go back and work more.
Where are my levels? There we go. But John Wick 3, May 17th. Ooh, that could be a trilogy that just spikes the ball, and I'm like, fantastic.
Because now he's going against the hotel.
He's going against everybody.
Yes, the hotel is everybody.
The Continental is everybody. Yeah, is where he fucked up.
But John Wick has it easy.
Yeah.
You're not expecting fantastic. The fact that you get a decent story is a massive bonus. And it's not a world-ending story. It's a decent story.
It's all about him, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I think they might shit the bed on this one, though, with Halle Berry. I don't think she's required.
I agree. They should have launched Charlize Theron. I think she would have been a better role for that.
Well, she did Atomic Blonde.
Oh man,
I love that movie.
Wasn't it good? Yeah. He almost didn't finish it.
I was like, that looks like a John Wick rip, and it's like
that's what his soul is too.
Yeah, I'm like, this is girl power, and believe me, strong girls. It's the patronizing that I don't like. You know, when Hollywood turns around and says, "Oh, let's do something," and instead of keeping it to the heart of the matter and being genuine, they're like, how do we capitalize on this movement?
It's the James Bond effect. We want a girl James Bond. We want a black James Bond. It's like, no, write your own character. Create your own
I
story.
think they did that. I like that with her, though. I don't think she was exactly James Bond.
That was the exact opposite of it.
That's what I mean.
Entirely its own thing.
And you didn't like it. I loved about it is there were so many twists in it. You just didn't know where it was going to go.
Dude, it was just straight up, to your point, write an original character, and that's what they did. It wasn't a rip off of John Wick. The only thing that was the same as John Wick is that they got the same stunt coordinator, and that made it badass. I love when a woman can throw a fucking punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you know, it's like, if I got hit with that, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, they're throwing a fucking punch and they're going to knock your teeth out. Like that to me is like,
and the
that's
fight
legit.
Scenes, they were brutal.
Yes.
And that's what I loved about it. I was just going to say the fight scenes were brutal. And not that anything's really believable, but it made it look like it was. You know what I mean? Where she was taking a punch, getting beat up. I mean, that one scene where they were going up the steps towards the end, she was fighting like 3 different dudes, and she was like physically beat up, exhausted after that.
And that's what I like when a movie shows. And there was the one scene where with her in the bathtub and all the bruises all over.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this lady took
cool.
a beating.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, they all missed me. I miraculously
so
dodged
cool.
every single thing.
Yeah.
She's like that. I remember that. She's got a tub full of ice. She's got a glass with rocks in it, and she's pouring straight vodka. And I'm like, God damn it! And now, granted, she is my love interest, and I do.
You know what? I'm sorry. She does. I've not seen a movie with her in it that I haven't enjoyed in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Even that Knightsman where she's the evil queen, I have enjoyed that too.
Oh, that was good.
They did 2 of them.
They're doing a second one. They're doing it now.
They did a second one, didn't they?
I don't think so. You're talking about the Snow White.
Yes, and then
Maleficent.
No, she wasn't Maleficent. That was Jude. The fuck is her name? Married to Brad Pitt. She was.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So Snow White and the Snow White one.
Maleficent.
The Snow White one.
I know what you're talking about. And the Huntsman.
They did 2 movies of that.
Yeah, you're right.
Snow White, and then they did one with Emily Blunt being her sister.
Didn't the second one bomb?
Yeah.
It did bomb, but I still liked it.
I didn't see either one.
I mean, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Nah, she's good, man.
It has both of them in it. Emily Blunt and her. I'm a fan.
She crushes. What else is going on in May? It's the Tolkien thing's coming out this weekend. I might see that.
It looks good. I don't know the reviews
I don't
on
know who
it.
this Tolkien guy is. Who's this guy Tolkien?
So I heard
You dick.
I heard a different take on that because like the Tolkien family or estate or whatever kind of disavowed
The movie?
Not necessarily disavowed, but like said that this isn't an accurate representation. Blah blah blah. Excuse me. But and I heard someone said that doesn't mean that they think it's all bullshit or it's all lies, which is what you would immediately go to thinking about. They just can't acknowledge that it's all truth because obviously you're going to take some liberties with the story.
I would, yeah.
And if they say that yes, we think this is an accurate representation, then they're admitting or acknowledging or cementing anything in the movie as being real life.
No.
And so the thing I was reading was like, yeah, so this is standard with like any biopic is everyone will kind of say that's not really an accurate representation just because they don't want anything that's in the movie to be considered fact. Just because it's in the movie.
I got you. Because they don't want people to believe it just because they see it in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on screen, you gotta. I don't know. I think
take it with a grain of salt. I believe.
Yeah, because Green Book got a lot of backlash that way. The one with Viggo Mortensen, where but you're right. It's why it's based.
Yeah,
that's a strong word. Based, right?
And with Tolkien,
by real events.
Yeah.
And Tolkien's such a big name because of Lord of the Rings and because so many directors and writers mirror their work off of him, like J.J.R. Martin.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't even have 2 J's.
George R.R.
I'm sorry, you're right. I say things wrong, and I know you probably pick up on George R.R. But supposedly when he was younger, he didn't even have 2 R's. Supposedly.
I saw that was the letter that he wrote to Stanley.
Yes,
Jack
that's
Kirby.
it. You said that.
Yeah, he signed the letter. Letters to the editor.
Yeah,
he signed it George R. Martin. Dude, I mean, come on, man. You got to be a numbskull not to see the connective tissue between his influence and Tolkien, right? Tolkien's influence.
He just took it to an adult level.
Yeah.
That's all he did was this is great for family audiences.
Yep.
Let's go one step further.
Yeah, not so family.
It's just the natural progression of things too.
Especially the way the world works.
And I'm happy for it because I love me some Game of Thrones. But real quick, in the news, April 30th, we lost Peter Mayhew. Chewbacca passed. So that's Kenny Baker, who died in 2016, who played R2-D2. Carrie Fisher, of course, Princess Leia, who died in 2016. And now Peter Mayhew, the 7'2" gentle giant of Star Wars claim to fame, Chewbacca, passed on April 30th. He didn't do much else besides Chewbacca.
No, but there's not a lot that he really could.
What is he, like 7'6"? I mean,
7'2".
What is he going to do?
I mean, yeah. What's the Mountain going to do after Game of Thrones? But yeah, but he managed to make a living.
Yeah.
Well, from what I heard, he was just like the nicest fucking guy ever.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
Everybody-
all the tributes were really beautiful. I'm going to grab a beer. You guys need a beer?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny. Everybody in that original cast, the Star Wars, except for Alan Obi-Wan. What is it, Alan? How do you say
Allen
it?
Guinness.
Alan, 'cause they were all great people. Alan Guinness was the only snob, and he was the best actor of all of them.
No, the guy who played C-3PO.
He was a dick. Is he a dick?
I heard he was a bit of a dick, though.
Oh, really? Because I heard like everybody else on set was like, Carrie Fisher's Carrie Fisher. Mark Hamill's beloved now.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford. I mean, I haven't heard.
He's just grumpy.
I think he's just his personality's grumpy. But I haven't heard like he's a bad guy.
No.
Like there's some bad people in Hollywood that you're just like, that the guy's a dick.
Dude, I love it. Have you ever seen the David Blaine and Harrison Ford? David Blaine is over at Harrison Ford's
Oh yeah,
house.
yeah. You showed me.
I haven't
You ever
seen
see
that,
it? So David Blaine does this crazy ass trick, and Harrison Ford's being Harrison Ford, and he's looking at him, and he does his thing, and it's David Blaine. You're like, how the fuck? And he just does this long pause, and he slowly looks up at David Blaine, and he goes, "Get the fuck out of my house." Like that.
And you can so see Harrison Ford doing that because he just has that like face.
I'm sure it'd either be that or I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care one bit.
Very nonplussed.
No, you're absolutely right.
So moving on, the spoiler ban was lifted on Monday on Avengers Endgame. So sorry, so sorry, Marcus.
You have a guest on that hasn't seen it. That's such a good movie.
That's
there,
my
John.
own fault.
We love you, Marcus.
It's my own fault.
We love
I
you,
know.
Marcus. You're our second favorite guest.
So what?
I'm kidding.
You haven't got the gold cape yet.
No, he's not there yet. He's always on his second time.
Not for trying though, because we when was it? A couple weeks ago, you weren't able to make it. So the spoiler ban was lifted, and so Spider-Man: Far From Home trailer came out. What you guys think?
It looks awesome. It looks like it's got to be one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man movies.
I agree.
I love the fact of where Mysterio came from.
Yes. So do tell, Nicholas.
Well, spoilers.
No, I saw it.
In Endgame, when they did this whole time travel thing, they changed timelines and universes. So now this is how I think, not to get too far down the line, this is how I think they're going to introduce mutants.
I would love that.
You would think that's how they're going to do it. And also Fantastic Four and all that, because where have Fantastic Four and mutants been this whole time when this world's been ending?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think they would do an uprising, go against Thanos too?
Yeah. If it's world ending, you're right. I mean, where is everybody? I mean, that was the only. I mean, going back to Endgame, the little tiny nitpicks about that one was Captain Marvel's excuse. It's like, oh well, there's 1,000 planets out there. And like, where were you when Thanos was here? And it's like, well, there's 1,000 planets out there.
Or maybe she just didn't know about it. It's not like it's broadcasted all over the world that Thanos has entered Earth.
No, but he took. But Thanos,
it's infinite.
But Thanos took out the Kree home, not the Kree home world. Took out where Glenn Close was, and the
I know.
the Nova Corps
Xandar.
was
Xandar.
Took out Xandar.
I know he took out Xandar, but in the same vein, I mean, it's only one planet. How many galaxies are there?
Yeah, again, it's a nitpick.
It's a nitpick. But back to what you were asking about where Mysterio came from. They say it in the trailer, and they're like, I think Spider-Man asks him. I only saw the trailer once, so I can't really.
Well, they do a little bit of disposition with.
He goes, we could have used you where I'm from.
Yes,
he asked Spider-Man.
Exactly right.
Spider-Man goes, where are you from? And
it's part of the Nick Fury conversation.
Right.
And Nick Fury says when the snap happened, it ripped a hole in the multiverse or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The second snap, or
they didn't say whether it was the first snap or a second.
Has
snap.
to be it has to be like the second snap.
But
'cause
dude,
they grabbed the stones from somewhere else.
How about how they open up this trailer? First of all, Tom Holland does the disclaimer, right? He said spoilers.
I thought that was really nice.
That was very cool. And they really respect the fans. That's really awesome.
They do no wrong.
Yes.
Feige, we trust. Hell Feige.
That's right. He's the new Hydra. But after to do the spoiler warning, it opens up with, it sets the tone. Everybody was, when does this timeline occur? Is it before? Is it after? And obviously it's after.
Because he's like mourning Spider-Man and
he's mourning
Iron Man, and everybody's questioning him, is he going to be the next Iron Man? And I love that. If that's the theme, because he, at the end, he can't be the next Iron Man because he's fucking Spider-Man. Yeah. So he has to be his own thing.
I think that was mostly because he would have the Iron Spider armor.
Right.
Yeah.
But then he loses that because he doesn't take it with him. So I think Fury, my guess, brings it with him.
In the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what I mean, and that seems like it's in the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, in the middle of the movie, you see him fighting Mysterio or helping Mysterio as the other suit. So I think Fury brings the other suit with him.
Yeah, you see, he does the one thing. I think it's going to be a little bit buddy cop with him and Happy, Jon Favreau's character.
Because Jon Favreau is going to be nailing his mom. Now his
that's
aunt.
Right. That's right.
He's going to be Uncle Ben. Oh, Uncle Happy.
Uncle Happy. Happy's happy. Hey, shut up, man. That's my aunt. Iron Spider you. Yeah, so it opens up. He's real distraught. So they set the tone, which is huge, right? Because that was the big mystery. When's it happen? Does it happen before? Does it happen after? But now we know it happens after. And Tom Holland, man, he delivers. I'm telling you. I'm looking at him. His eyes are all red. He's talking to Happy. He's like, I just miss him. And you're like, oh, dude. What
about when he's when he helps the cops out and he goes, "What are you going to be doing? Are you going to become the next Iron Man?" "No, I'm too busy doing your job."
Yeah, he's like, just kidding. I'm going on vacation.
He is Spider-Man. I'm sorry, he's the best Spider-Man.
Yeah,
the more and more I was thinking about this the other day. What?
He's absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. He's nailed it because he has that like childish, like kiddish, like what Spider-Man is and was.
He's a legit kid. Like, he was, 18, 19 years old when they started the franchise?
Tobey Maguire tried, and he did 30. The best besides this. But he was 30. You're right. He was all, I mean,
yeah.
Even with the acting, he still looked 30 in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's all that gambling, all those late nights in the illegal gambling halls.
Can you believe that? I know that we talked about this before. I still blows my mind.
What movie was that?
That was the movie.
Game.
Yeah. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It was really cool, wasn't it?
It was. I'm
enlightening.
A huge sucker for Sorkin. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was really enlightening because how that went down. And
it's like Sorkin's dialogue is going to go down in movie history.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, he's the best Spider-Man. Personally, I think he's the best actor out of any of the people that played Spider-Man. I know he's young, but I mean, he does it well.
Yeah, he's
like,
delivering.
I mean, it has to be. I know you add a little bit of yourself in a role, but he does it so well.
Yeah, well, and he's British. He's playing a kid from Queens.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, do you remember the part where he blows off Nick Fury?
Yeah.
You answer him.
You don't blow off Nick Fury. He goes, I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool the way they bring Mysterio in. They kind of turn it on its head because obviously Mysterio's a notorious villain in the Spider-Verse.
But you said he flip-flops a little bit in the verse. More villainish, but he has been known to help out sometimes in the...
I don't know if he helps out in the comics, Nick. I think that he started out as like a good guy, and then he turned bad.
Maybe that's what they're leading towards in this movie. He's like helping out.
But even they're not doing backstory because unless they do backstory from his other universe, because I think he was a stuntman in the movie business.
And he might as well. But yeah, it looks like he has some kind of powers or something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it kind of looks a little bit like Mystic Arts.
Yeah,
Master of the Mystic Arts, Doctor Strange type powers.
Right. Which would be kind of cool to figure out what he has and where he got it from.
Yeah. And how did they make that ridiculous
helmet?
Yeah, that
helmet
looked cool.
The fishbowl.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's the lamest looking thing I've ever seen.
If you use it sparingly, it can be like anything can be cool. If you use it just in a couple spots.
Yeah, talk about Aquaman. That shit wasn't cool. They used it sparingly, and that shit from whatever Bantha, whatever the fuck that character's name.
Oh yeah, Black Manta.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I agree with Jamie about that movie.
Everything DC just sucks.
It's not good.
I saw the new Joker trailer. That looks
okay.
different.
But the only thing I don't want to get too off topic. Me and John talked about this before, and I want your thought process on this because I know you're a fan. I always thought the Joker character was mysterious. You don't know where he's from.
Yeah.
It should have been not. His backstory shouldn't be from Gotham because nobody knew in Gotham where he was from. I don't mind doing an origin story from GoT Joker, but I felt like nobody should know who he is from Gotham.
Yeah, and we mentioned that in the previous episode.
Yeah.
I think you can pull that off if it's like when you go into the criminal underworld as Joker, you're entering as Joker.
Maybe.
Because if you're just this fucking random dude who, whatever happens, and then you become the Joker, yeah, no one in the criminal underground in Gotham is going to know who you are. And, you fuck up your face enough, and none of your old friends and family or no one you went to school with is going to realize it's you. But yeah, like the whole point of the Joker is that it's just pure chaos energy. You don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't matter. There's no goal. There's no, I want to have all the real estate or I want to have a bunch of money. It's just pure chaos.
That's why
it works so well.
That's why, God rest his soul, Heath Ledger nailed it.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, I loved in Christopher Nolan's version where they were. Which
would have been the best trilogy, one of the best trilogies if he didn't die. I'm almost
I agree.
Positive. I think the Joker was supposed to have a major impact in that third movie, and it just...
Yeah. But every time when he, like, just a little touch of when he changed the story about his scars, it was like, this dude's a madman, and you don't know where he's coming from. Yeah. He's not even in the fiction that he spouts out is all over the place.
I think it's just past the point if he even knew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just masterpiece. So stoked for that. Spider-Man: Far From Home.
When does that come out? June, July?
That is a good question. July.
Yeah.
It is July.
July.
I thought it was this month for some reason.
I wish it was. I'm like marveled up. I want to keep going.
All right.
Don't stop.
We got Aladdin.
Supposedly, yeah.
Feige says that he considers Far From Home to be the end of Phase 3.
That's why I'm wondering if there's something at the end of that pulls it in more with.
Well, that's why I think Mysterio can't be that big. Like it can't end up being the next big bad anyway. Like say the end of Far From Home, he turns bad.
Yeah,
like I don't think that works out too well because going into Phase 4, you probably want somewhat of a fresh start.
No, I agree with you there. It makes sense, but I was hoping that it will put something happens at the end of Spider-Man that puts a bow on everything that happened in Endgame. Not that it needs it, but if he's making that statement that this is actually the end, I mean, it has to have a nice tie-in outside. He's mourning Iron Man.
Dude, if you think about it, this is the end credits scene. The beginning of this trailer was the end credits scene for the next phase. Yeah. And then if you really think about it, I mean, they still have Doctor Strange 2. Spider-Man's July 2nd, by the way. Guardians 3, that's not till 2022, and I think that's getting to 2022.
22?
That's the latest. But I think it's getting to 2022 because now they reinstated James Gunn.
Yeah, they need time.
They tied in the Asgardians. That was actually a comic book. Can you believe that shit?
No,
and
there was a bunch of women, wasn't it? A lot of women characters in that.
No, that was something totally different. But I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling. You haven't seen Endgame.
I don't care. Go on.
Anyway, so Asgard. So all right, I'm just gonna say it. Thor goes off into the sunset with the Guardians.
Okay.
All right. So
it's kind of funny too how he does it. We don't spoil that because you have to see that moment.
That works with the character. So
you remember how they found him, right? In Infinity War.
But you don't know if he's going to be in Guardians. You don't know because supposedly Gunn already had the script written.
But that's what I'm saying. That's probably why it's extending this out to 2022.
To add Thor into it a little bit, maybe at least in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, if he's in a movie, he's going to be in a movie.
No, well, Iron Man was in the first Spider-Man. He wasn't in it all the time.
That's true. He still stole the scenes he was in.
He was. I mean, it's Iron Man.
Yeah. That's
and
true.
made a
So
significant
sad.
impact on the movie.
I feel like Robert Downey Jr. died.
Right. There's actually, did you see the thing online about grieving for a lost hero? A therapist actually wrote an article or something like that. It was like,
Dude.
this is how you grieve? I'm like, really? I'm upset, but I'm not that upset.
Yo, did I tell you about the breath when I saw the first one? Saw it the first time?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm in the movie. And I always say, I'm like, listen, man, I'm just a tool bag about being center as far as my seat. And so Cindy and I were joking around about it. She was like, well, I'm going to sit on the furthest on the inside. You sit here. I was like, no. Because we were flanking left. And I was like, I want the furthest on the inside because that's going to get me closer to center. So I jokingly, she was, and Cindy was laughing about it. I buzzed by her, instead of ladies first, I buzzed by her. I'm like, I'm getting my seat like that. And then I sit down and there's a stranger next to me. It's a guy, a husband with his family. It says him and his wife and his kid. And about halfway through the movie, there's some yucks and everything, some laughs and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, that dude's breath. It smells like someone.
I thought you were going to be like, I thought he was going to like,
it was
he
old
farted.
man breath. It was like a rotting tooth in the back of his mouth
That's
breath.
the worst.
And he was breathing
And
on you?
he wasn't breathing on me, but his breath was so bad. It went,
That shit
and
lingers,
and
too.
carried out, and then was coming across my way. And then, this is the best.
You switched seats with one of your kids, didn't
No,
you?
I tell Cindy about it. We're in the car ride home. We're talking about how awesome this movie is. How awesome the movie is. And I'm telling about the breath. And Cindy's like, I smelled it too. And then Noah, who's sitting 3 away from this guy, goes, I smelled it too. Like that. And I'm like, holy fuck, how rotten is this guy's teeth?
This was Saturday, or this was the first time you saw it?
This is the first time I saw it.
That dude probably ruined the movie for everyone with him in like a 6 foot.
Ugh.
I got to ask
The
you about
worst.
Saturday. You went with Jerry, right?
Yeah, with Jerry.
Did he get fucked up by 2 Captain Americas fighting?
He said something about it.
I knew it. 2 cats. I'm all fucked up.
He did because I was sitting next to Jerry. Jerry's like, "Oh, this is all like the 2 Spocks, like that."
That's a good impression of Jerry.
Captain America's 2 Spocks. And, we had them over the other night. It was fun. But the second time we saw it, there's a woman behind me over my right shoulder, so it's behind Jerry and Donna, and she is sobbing, dude.
At the end?
She's like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. No, that's too much for me.
Yeah, it was too much for me.
You know
too.
what? I'll tell you this much. It's too much for me. I wouldn't be sobbing, but I got teary-eyed, man. It gets to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Shan told me you were sobbing like a bitch.
Yeah. She was sobbing. I'd admit to it if I was. And if I did, she
Well,
would.
you did when we were doing the review, or
Yeah.
you guys gave me the review of A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
And when
That got me.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, man. Motherfucker, dude.
Did you
I'm
see it,
sorry.
Marcus.
Yeah.
That guy tears up, dude. I've never. Shit.
He's a man.
Dude, he don't tear up. It's like, fuck. I got choked up.
Yeah. So moving on. Game of Thrones. Season 8.
You are caught up to that, right?
I just finished watching it in the car in John's front.
Oh, you watched it in the car.
You're a good boy, Marcus. Season 8, episode 4. After the Battle of Winterfell, of course.
The Starbucks episode.
The
Yes.
Starbucks episode. So, what Nick has alluded to, which is probably all over the internet and everybody knows this already, is that in the scene in the feast,
It was at the very beginning.
yeah, in the very beginning, on the main table where all the lords sit, there was a Starbucks cup left on set.
If anyone's going to get Starbucks, it's going to be one of the lords.
That's
All right.
right.
Looked like it was Daenerys, the queen. She,
That's right. She had to keep her wits about her. So that was really funny. That came out today. That hit the interwebs, and everybody was all a Twitter, pun intended.
They were all over that, dude. It was just like, I thought it was a joke at first.
Yeah. But getting to the episode, it opened up, and of course, it's the funeral of everybody that got killed in the Battle of Winterfell.
First of all,
There's your touching
overview.
scene.
Overview. What did you guys think of the episode? Good, bad? Then we'll
Decent.
dive. I thought it was decent.
Decent.
I think it was good. After an episode like last week, you couldn't just overwhelm it again.
Yeah, it was a nice counter to last episode.
I liked it actually better than the Battle of Winterfell.
I've rewatched the Battle of Winterfell. Battle of Winterfell. The Long Night. Whatever it's called. I think it's called either one. I
think it is called The Long Night.
Yeah, it's a long night.
I rewatched it. I kind of liked it more the second time around.
I'll have to give it another go.
It's better when you're not looking for all the hype.
Yeah. And
Because they hyped this thing up for like 2 years.
yeah.
Well, longer than that. It was because of it's the Night King.
Well, just
By the way,
like-
go ahead.
The production of it, they hyped it up. It was the biggest battle we shot for 55 nights, the most expensive battle ever, and you're just expecting so much more than you actually got for the battle. As far as like the story decisions, in hindsight, I agree with most of them. I wasn't super thrilled about all of them in the heat of the moment. But on second rewatching, a lot of it made more sense.
Yeah.
Can I say something from the start of this? Because we talk about
Go for
this.
it.
We talk about this all the time. Me and you, me and John. Do you watch the beginning scenes of Game of Thrones when they do all the songs and the intros? And do you watch that? You know that has tailing points to the show, right?
Yes.
Did you notice this week's it was still blue?
Yeah. It was blue past Winterfell.
Right. So what does that mean?
And the crypts were all jacked up too.
And what does that mean? Because they interviewed them this week, the two writers.
Benioff and Weiss.
Yeah, and
the showrunners.
Jimmy Kimmel asked them directly, "Are they done, White Walkers?" And they said, "We can't answer that." But I thought they were just saying that. Mm-hmm. But the opening sequences has always meant so much to the show, and I know there's only 2 episodes left, so it's probably not the case. But why would they leave that still blue?
Well, that's a good point, right? I mean, it's still winter up there, but maybe
they left out strip.
Maybe because remember when Sam went to the Citadel, right? And that's when you saw the depiction of that sort of sundial that was hanging in the main library, right? So I think that's just that beginning is history, right? So
I get that.
I think that already happened.
But I maybe you
So
could be right.
so if they take the blue away, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Maybe it's just what happened in the season.
It's historical.
It happened in this season, so they're going to keep it. Because this week they had the Winterfell was all jacked up inside.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
maybe you're right. Maybe that's a good point. I never thought about it. I thought it was per episode it changes.
And
Yeah.
also, it's not like, when another army would conquer them, then now you're my subjects. Like, they're all dead. All the areas where the White Walkers were, no one lives there anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
This is true.
So it might as well still be controlled
That's
by
a
the
good
White
point.
Walkers because there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good point. Well, we'll know in the next 2 episodes. 2 episodes left. That
2
was 4.
episodes left. So if you get back to it, they show it's a pretty powerful opening scene.
It is.
You show everybody mourning the loss of these significant characters, secondary kind of B characters, but.
I don't know. Mormont?
Jorah Mormont
Jorah.
was definitely a main character, but it wasn't the top tier.
No, he was a step below, but he had a lot of screen time.
Yeah, he had a great story arc too.
I loved his story arc. I didn't really care for him in the beginning, but as the seasons went on, you really started to, feel for this guy and what he's gone through, ups and downs, wanting to kill Daenerys to gain his honor back or not, and then some of the other characters that died in it, that like Jon Snow, the little girl. I mean, she really was a B character, but every scene she was in, she stole the scene. Even in the Battle of the Long Night, where she killed the fucking giant.
Yeah, Marcus isn't liking this.
She was pandering. Like,
I liked her, dude. I really did like her.
They used her too much in this season.
They didn't use her too much at all.
There's that character works good in very small doses.
And I felt
Unintended.
I don't think she was used all that much. She had like maybe 3 scenes.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
There's only been 3 episodes.
This is true.
4 episodes.
Well, she made a name for herself last season. Really, maybe even the last 2 seasons, but last season especially when she was like, she really stood out. It's like she was part of standing by. I guess it's a season and a half. I can't anyway.
So, yeah.
But because she was no joke. I mean, I loved that she was powerful despite her stature and age.
I think that she symbolized, so like the last 2 or 3 seasons, whenever they were strictly on Phoebe and Benioff, Weiss and Benioff, the tone of the show changed a bit. It went from like, an accurate portrayal of these epic and well thought out books to a TV show.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean that I would totally agree with you there.
I think she represents that very well because she had like in her first appearance, obviously everyone fucking loved her right away.
Yeah.
And then you saw that they used her a little bit more, like, oh, every time we use her, we get good reactions.
Yeah.
So it's like an Urkel effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you read the books? Did you read the books?
Yeah.
Because my buddy Mark read the books, and I was talking to Tickner the other day, and I asked him about the Battle of Winterfell, what he thought. And he liked it. He liked it. And I asked him, I said it was dark. He goes, but if you read the books, the way they talk about the previous Long Night, when the White Walkers came before, it was more of like a haze. When they attacked, you couldn't see, and that's what they kind of were going for.
Yeah, and I get that. I think that the way they did the Battle of Hardhelm, when the first time the White Walkers, the Night King, raised the dead, you could see everything, and you could tell it was night, and you can tell that they were throwing down, and it was a full on assault. So I can appreciate that. But dude, you gotta see what the hell's going on. I couldn't tell which dragon was which, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it was really, really tough. Did I enjoy the episode? Have I enjoyed the season so far? But to your point, Marcus, I think it's stinking a little Hollywood, and they don't have the source material to be pushed in the right direction.
Even though the writers on board with what they've been doing.
But even when in the first couple of seasons, when they would make decisions that you would just be like, oh, that's typical Hollywood, they would point to it like, no, this is the decision that was made in this book that you guys all love, so don't give us any shit about it.
Yeah.
And they can't do that anymore.
They can't, but I mean, it's like, again, I was talking to Mark because he read the books and I didn't. I asked his opinion. You think he's going to? Because I'm a believer that the writer
George
R.R. Martin will release.
You want to say J.J. Abrams so
bad. I do. He's going to release these final books after this is all said and done, and he thinks not, because he thinks in the books he's gone too in depth with so many different characters. It's so hard for him to come about, and finish it out because there's so many, and there's so many more characters in the books than there are in the show.
Yeah. There's so much more that it would take. Yeah, obviously his books are huge, but it would take a couple more books than what he's got planned out.
Right. He said he only had 3 more books. It's probably not. There's no way he can round it out.
And he's also got like he makes these lore books, like the history of Westeros,
right?
And I don't know if he himself does those. I think he does, but I also think he might have some help with writing those. But those are fantastic for really fleshing out this whole world. Like they go across things that you might see, across 7 books, 3 sentences of. Now you've got 700 pages of it. That's like 70 pages of it in this lore book. So that's really cool. But I don't know how it wraps up.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you could wrap all that up.
Well, there's 3 offshoot shows planned. One is definitely pre-production about the film. But all 3, there was 5 originally, and then there's 3 that got greenlit for pilots.
For the brand the builder that.
Well, no, that's the one.
Ago.
There's 3 off. There's the only one I know that the plot line, and that's brand the Age of Heroes. It's the only one I know that they've actually physically wrote articles about. That's the Naomi Watts thing.
Yeah,
there is 2 other ones that have gotten greenlit for plots that they have not sent any word on what's supposed to take place.
Dude, let's talk about it. Let's talk about 2 things. I think. There's been comments online where people are saying that the showrunners are just looking to jam it in, and they're like, Star Wars, here we come. and they're just looking to wrap this up.
I don't think so. I don't think that's what they're trying to do. I
Even
think
that you can't drag it on. Like, the actors are aging, and a lot of them are kids, and it doesn't make sense to drag this on for another 4 seasons. To
But
tell
it
a story.
feels a little like that.
Oh, it does, and that is what they're doing, is they're trying to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But
they are.
There's,
Yeah.
I don't think there's like an ulterior motive, like, oh, we're done with this, we're moving on now. Like,
Well, I
don't
mean,
think you
realistically, even if it's not malicious, they still
Yeah.
realistically have to consider that.
And I think financially, they couldn't keep going because this season was like $15 million an episode. I mean, I know they're like an hour and a half long, but that's huge for a TV show.
That's massive.
That's why they had Starbucks. But no, I'm just making a joke. But that's huge for a TV show. And to your point, yes, they don't have the source material to lean on. They do have the writer, but they don't have like the template. You know what I mean? Where we could like go off of a little bit.
So
And they got to figure out a way to wrap it up. But let's get to the episode.
So let's get to, like I said, let's get to the episode. There's a lot that goes on in this episode. It was an hour and 18 minutes, not including credits. Gendry, they do the mass funeral, then they do the feast. There's some great little choice moments in the feast, mostly around Tormund and the Hound and Brienne of Tarth.
I will say this, though. I do think all 4 major houses survive. Because if you noticed in the beginning scenes, they're all back to the 4 major houses that were from the first season on around the wall.
Oh, you know what? I hadn't really taken note of exactly.
I always weird. I take
'Cause
notice.
you're a nerd, man.
Yeah, I am a nerd, dude.
Sansa's going to carry on House Stark. Like,
And I think
that's
John's
what's
going
gonna
to carry on House Targaryen. I think the way Daenerys is going, she's alienating. So, and she even got Tyrion doubting himself now. He's drinking again.
Yeah.
Because now, that's a sign of him not liking who he's been with. And then
Varys, the spider's already conspiring.
And I think the one that's going to keep the line for the Lannisters is, what's her face? She slept with Jaime, and I think she's going to end up being pregnant.
Oh, that's a good point.
And
Dude, what a dick! What a dick!
I think he's going south to.
He's going back with Cersei.
No, I don't think he is.
Think he's going to kill her?
I don't know what he's going to do, but I don't think he's going to join with Cersei.
Here's my prediction, because, and this is why I think it's going to go Hollywood, because my predictions are getting, from what I can gather, I think my predictions are more concrete in my mind. But who knows? It could just be me and my own self-grandizing. I think that Jaime is going to die. I think that she's going to take Arya's going to take his face. She's going to kill her with both hands, and that's how Cersei's going to know in the end that it wasn't Jaime, but not 100% sure.
Why? Why wouldn't it make a difference?
Because he's got a metal
it's a metal hand. God,
yeah, and then I think
big fan of the show.
or she's gonna I think that's gonna happen. I think Tyrion's gonna kill Daenerys, and because she's gonna go Mad King, because the Mad King wanted to burn it all. She's going to want to burn it all.
She seems like she's getting to that point right now.
Right.
Especially after the end.
So I feel like that I cannot think of a better way to do it. Maybe more hints further back, but her turn from being this liberator to the Mad Queen is coming a little quick.
Yes, of course.
But you felt that was the right way to go.
No, yeah, it's definitely the right way to go.
Yeah, it's like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, season 8 started. I'm evil now. Okay,
yeah,
let's be evil.
But
the rushed part.
I think they had to rush it because I think that there's no other way to get around it. They weren't greenlit for a 9th season, so
yeah,
I can't think of a better way to do it. It just feels a little rushed. I'm not saying, oh, you should have done it like this, or I would have done it like that. Like, no, I'm a monkey with a wrench. I should not be fucking writing this shit.
But I agree with you though, because it will show that power corrupts. You know what I mean? Her whole life, maybe not the first year, but after her brother died, was all about getting that Iron Throne back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And along the way, she saved a lot of people. But once she got to Westeros, she's just all about been demanding.
What do they call
She
it?
burnt the Tarleys just because they wouldn't bend the knee.
Poor Dickon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's just a great name, dude.
But when Braun laughs, it's the best.
Braun, what's the deal with fucking Braun?
First of all, that I have a complaint about Braun.
Because he's your favorite character.
He is my favorite character. I have a complaint because he's survived this long, and why does he keep continuing to trust the Lannisters? It's like
So
he gets fucked every time.
No, that's how he's gotten to where he's gotten. But he's always trusted the right one. First he tried Tyrion, then he trusted Jaime, now he's trusting Cersei.
Which is worse.
Now he's hedging his bets on all.
Yeah.
Well, now what do you think's going to happen, dude? Whoever fucking wins is going to kill him.
I think
he's going to survive.
Braun
I don't think so.
More of I think it's going to come out in the last 2 episodes. I think Braun has a big hidden backstory.
Ooh.
Is it in the books?
No,
I just wasn't sure.
but it's. I would have just said that.
No, I just...
Dude, I love the line when he punches Tyrion in the face and in the nose, and he's like, and Tyrion goes, "You broke my nose." He goes, "I didn't break your nose. I've been breaking noses since I was your size."
But he came out like a dick, man. I didn't see that coming.
He's fed up, man. He's fed up,
but
he's my buddy.
He's fed up, but he had nothing. He was a sellsword. Now all of a sudden he has all this, and he's like to the 2 people that got him there, he's trusting. Well, I mean, he's giving them a reprieve, but he's giving a big fuck you too at the same respect.
Yeah,
I think there's something. I think going back, him or his family came from some position of power or high birth or something.
Could be.
I think he plays this game a little bit too well to just be a sellsword who got lucky a couple times. And
that would be awesome.
The right way.
Yeah.
I think he's probably from a house that maybe like in his parents' generation fell from power. Mm-hmm. And so he grew up with enough backstory, like being taught to him to know all this shit.
Yeah.
But also the same kind of school of hard knocks to be able to pull up.
He knows enough about the royals to be able to say, "I know you.
Yeah.
I've been close to this in some way, shape, or form."
I think he knows those games far too well to just be a sellsword who fell in with the right crowd.
Yeah, and I think the other thing. Well, let me continue. Just one last prediction. I think it's going to be a battle between Grey Worm and the Hound and the Mountain, and they're going to take the Mountain out. But it's going to have to take 2 of them, and one of them might get mortally wounded, which is probably going to be the Hound.
No, I think that'll be Grey Worm.
No.
I think Grey Worm has nothing to live for now.
Grey Worm's got nothing to live for.
That's cool.
Hound wants to die, so the Hound will live.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
The
like
Hound
that
does
better.
not give a fuck about living.
I like that better. That's better writing, but that's not Hollywood. You know what I mean?
There's still enough of J.J. Martin in there.
All right. You said J.J. Martin.
He's making fun of me, dick. No, I mean, I can't disagree with you there, but I don't know who's it going to come down to. I do think Jon will take the Iron Throne.
Yeah,
It's the way they're leading this now, and the way they've led all the seasons.
I think Sansa takes it.
You think Sansa?
That's my initial prediction.
I don't think Jon wants it. Jon maybe forced it. It'll be forced upon him.
I think Sansa
give it to Sansa.
I think Sansa will be the hand.
maybe.
Or she continues to be the Ward of the North.
No, I think she'll be the hand, and I think somebody else will take the place of Warden of the North.
Could be. Or the South, according to Tormund.
Or although, I mean, Jon is the most logical because that's what it's all leading towards. His backstory, his Targaryen heritage.
Yeah.
But the question is, how does it end with him and Daenerys?
One of them dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes crazy. Someone kills her.
Yeah.
I think Jon kills her. I think Jon has to.
That'd be crazy. Maybe, yeah.
Because she starts going ape shit and wanting to torch everything.
Here's why I think it's Tyrion, though, because I think they're doing a repeat of the Hand killed the king, right? Wasn't Jaime the Hand, or no? He wasn't the Hand. That
No,
was
he was the Knights. Or
that's right. He wasn't the Hand.
But I think the story arc of Jon
That was
killing
Jon.
killing his love of his life for the right reason.
Ooh, wow, that would be refreshing.
I mean,
I didn't think about that. That works. I think the only that or the only thing that could kill a Targaryen is another Targaryen kind of thing, where
Right,
in order
yeah.
to survive the fire, it's got to be a Targaryen.
Right.
But other than that, I think it makes a lot more sense for it to be Tyrion.
No, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think both explanations have merit. You know, I mean, who knows? John might not be the one to fucking survive. We might be and he might have just impregnated fucking her, and he dies.
Well, so the thing with
Yeah.
Tyrion, because like Tyrion's been kind of off his game the last 2 seasons.
I know he's
Give or
been getting
take.
fucked over constantly. Like, he's usually like the most cleverest person in the room, and
Yeah, Sansa called him out. Yeah.
Sansa called him out, and a bunch of people have called him out. Like, not actually physically called him out, but like they've got one up on him. His
Yeah.
brother got one up on him on a maneuver.
Oh, that's right. That's
You
right.
know,
With
give him-
Highgarden.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of other stuff.
So
Yeah.
like the 2 theories for that are either because George R.R. Martin isn't writing them anymore, it's not as clever. You know, it's a very difficult character to write for because you've got a
George R.R. Martin.
Shut the hell up.
Guillermo del Toro.
fucker. You know, because you've got to weave it all in that only he can really do.
Yeah.
So prior to Sansa calling him out, I was just assuming like the current writers just don't have the chops to pull him off as well.
Yeah.
But now I think it's more of a kind of long game,
Yeah.
making these strategic mistakes.
So you're thinking John gets
No.
the throne?
I
Or
think
Sansa.
Sansa gets the throne. Jon gets Warden of the North. Because that's all. Like he'll accept Warden of the North. I don't think he wants to rule anything.
He'll still be able to hang out with Tormund and Ghost.
Yeah,
I was kind of anticlimactic with the ghost thing. You
Yeah.
think he would have at least walked over and been like, all right, boy, it's your
Yeah.
turn to roam free.
He was
all
being a
that-
shit to him.
You know?
all that budget went to the dragons.
Yeah,
right.
they did take off his ear. Did you see that?
He was fucked up in the face a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I mean, he just kind of dove in there.
If this was Walking Dead, he would have been a zombie.
His zombie. He would have
Zombie dog.
Zombie ghost.
Zombie ghost.
Wait, that's redundant.
No, I mean, all in all, I thought the episode was good. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
like you guys, I mean, after coming down from, and I have to admit, when I'm rewatching The Long Night, I love the music they played when he was walking towards Bran.
Oh yeah.
It really, really did set the mood. I was
Yeah.
like, not to go back on that episode, but I was rewatching it, and I'm like, dude, this is really, really pretty awesome. But there's rumors out there, going back to Long Night, that when Jon stood in front of the dragon, he supposedly saw Arya trying to make a beeline for the gateway. That's
Oh.
why he stood in front of the dragon jumping up like this, and Arya made the beeline. That's when, right after that, you saw a wisp right past one of the White Walkers.
Dude, that was so badass, man.
So, but I mean, if that was the case, and I don't know until they show after credit scenes when they talk about it, why wouldn't they at least show Arya a little bit in that scene? If that was the case.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I posted it online. I wish I could. I just remember Tom Morello and a bunch of, like, I'm not a hardcore guitar nerd, but a bunch of guys doing this thing with Fender where they had all these Game of Thrones custom guitars.
Yeah.
And they did this killer riff on the Game of Thrones theme song. I'll send you guys the link.
Did you see my text I sent about the Emperor sitting on the Iron Throne?
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
works.
ridiculous.
First of all, I thought you were MIA this weekend because you usually respond. I got Jamie responded, not
Oh,
you.
dude, I've been busy, man.
I know you were
It's like-
busy, but I thought that was kind of cool. May the Fourth be with you, and they had fucking the Emperor on the Iron Throne.
Well, the funny part is that these guys are going for Star Wars next, so it kind of blends the two worlds together.
Dude, this I'll have to say, hopefully, as we always say this about how shows end, hopefully, I don't know how I want it to end because I kind of like want it to be a surprise.
Yeah.
If it's John, if it's Arya, whatever. But I hope it just ends well.
Yeah, no Sopranos ending, no Seinfeld ending, something that's actually makes you satisfied.
And don't try to outthink yourself. Like,
Yeah, don't-
just make it make something that's believable. Like, even a Sansa, I wouldn't like it, but I would be like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, Sansa dropped a killer line, man. She was when she was like, Tyrion was like, "I wish I could have protected you from all those horrors and everything." And was it Tyrion? I can't remember. But she was like,
Hound.
it was the Hound. That's right. She was like, "If those things didn't happen to me, I wouldn't. I would still be a little bird."
Yeah.
I loved when he called her little bird. That
Because it was
awesome.
a callback to what, the second season?
Yeah. Yeah.
Second or third? When
was-
did the
it was-
Hound leave? It was after the second season.
It was the second season because that's when Joffrey was being a dick.
Yeah.
Well, Joffrey was being a dick all the way up to the beginning of the fourth season. That's when he died.
Yeah,
dick
but that was
since
when
the
they were like
first
engaged
line.
with
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah.
And the Hound was like, just get out of here. Let's just get out of here.
Here, I gotta ask you a question, both you two.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little disappointed on the fact that I didn't hear their expressions when they finally told Sansa and Arya about who Jon was. They just cut away.
Yeah, that was lame. And Sansa was.
I know they don't
Sansa was
technically
a dick.
need it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It would have serviced the story better.
yeah. I just because it's a big build-up, but nobody knows about this.
But
Yeah.
it might have also led to something. Like how they portray that reaction might lead to what happens next, which would probably also, flip side of that be, there's your little Easter egg for, that's how they were planning it. Not just they threw it in there and threw stuff at the wall and it stuck.
Yeah, but she ran. Man,
Sounds like couldn't keep her mouth shut.
God damn it, man.
But you know what?
It's
You know what?
strategic, though.
She's playing the game
Yeah,
now.
that's
She's
true.
playing what she's learned from Cersei, but not as an evil person, but like trying to. Yeah, she's kind of evil, right?
Well,
she had all those hookers come in to fuck everybody.
I mean, everything.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like,
Either you play the game where you die, right?
right, but she kind of like led Tyrion down that well about like she didn't need to tell Tyrion.
You know what? The Sansa thing is sounding a little bit more feasible, but
I don't know if she wants the Iron
But
Throne.
I think
I
because
don't think she wants anyone else to have it.
Yeah.
I think she might want it for Jon. I don't think she thinks Jon has the political wherewithal to keep the Iron Throne.
Maybe that's why using her as a hand would be the way to go.
It would be the way to go, but I don't think that he would want to do that.
I think it's all about. I think you're right. I agree with you, Marcus. I think how George. I'm just going to call him George Martin.
This RR shit is fucking me up, dude.
I think George Martin is really loves his powerful women.
He does. He
You know.
showed in this that look Arya being, the prince that was promised. Nobody
Yeah.
saw that coming.
I mean, yeah, totally.
There's been how many queens, that have stayed through. So yeah, I agree. But I still got the feeling that Jon will end up being there. And you're right. He doesn't like to play the game, but kings don't play the game. It's everybody else.
That's why kings
True.
die, though.
Yeah.
This is true, but they all die.
True.
Everybody, the Mad King died. They all died.
All of-
Baratheon
all of-
died. Baratheon just drank. Didn't play the game. He just got fucking drunk.
Well, he was made to be drunk. He kept getting fed alcohol and put him in a compromising position for that Borda Gorum.
Right. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if he wasn't always wanting to be drunk, he wouldn't have got fed alcohol that much to
Yeah.
be that fucking drunk.
Yeah. Fat bastard. All right, let's wrap the episode up. I do have one thing that I'm dying to get to. Previous episode 66, fact checks. Whew. All right.
Did you tell him about this or something?
I didn't. I can't even remember.
Nick, and I know I'm picking on you, man, because I know
I've been
that
picked on all episode with names. Marcus is teaming up with you. You set this up, didn't you?
But I'm going to call myself out on some bullshit too.
Oh, that's fine.
It's Zola, Dr. Zola, not Zoloft. Zoloft is an antidepressant.
Yeah. I kind of, you know what? When I listened to it the other day, I'm like,
All right. Now, this is all on me. And Marcus, you would have skewered me for this if you would have caught it. But Dr. Fate, we called it out. It's a goddamn DC character, and I knew that
But
shit.
wasn't there a character? I swear I read this online, not about Fate, but isn't there a character? As I read something online about the most powerful characters in the MCU universe, or Marvel.
Dr. Doom.
No. There was a character supposedly like a god, like the god character. I don't know. I
don't know, man.
I read an article.
There's been a couple articles saying like Dr. Doom is by far the most powerful.
Well, there's
character.
No, I'm not talking about powerful, but there was like a god character, like god of the universe and everything like that.
Like an Eternal or something.
Like an eternal, but even above them. You
Yeah.
know, it's somebody like a one.
I don't know, man. I got to do
But like
my homework.
there was like a Spider-Man where Spider-Man actually interacted with in one. I gotta Google it because I swear I read an article on that like about a year ago. And
Jesus?
yeah, Jesus shows up in the MCU. Wouldn't that be crazy?
But not the DC.
Well, it's a multiverse, so you could.
Yeah, right. You never know.
All right. I have two more. The runtime for Avengers Endgame. 3 hours and 2 minutes.
I said 2 minutes.
You said 1.
No, I said
Check the tapes.
I said
fuck off.
I
No,
said 2. You
you
said
don't
3.
understand.
No.
I said 2. You said 3.
No.
First of all, that doesn't matter. 'cause
No,
it's
I
20
want to
minutes
check
of
the
credits
tapes. I
anyway.
am going to check the tapes, dude.
It's 20 minutes of credits anyway, so that doesn't matter.
No, the
This is
actual credit
now I'm
runtime.
pissed. Now I'm pissed. I swear I said 2. I got to listen to the whole episode.
All right, we'll go to the tapes. And the last one, and this was all on me. We referenced Ken Jeong's character, because he was the guy that was running the storage unit in Avengers Endgame, and he was the guy in the Hangover. We called him Wang. What a bunch of racists.
No,
his name. I'm kidding, but his name was Leslie Chow.
but wouldn't it have been funnier if his name was Wang because
Of course it would have.
he was naked?
Yeah.
And his Wang was hanging out and his Wang.
Subliminally, that's what I'm going to say.
That's what I was thinking.
That would be the Hangover joke too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So, not Wang, Leslie Chow. And so that's it for this episode of the Nick, Jon, and Jamie Show. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Marcus, thank you for joining us on this
Second, yep.
on your second visit to the basement. The door is always welcome, and you can come over whenever you want.
Don't say that. I'll just start sleeping on your couch.
Dude, I put an inflatable mattress right there, and you can just take it off and play on the pool table whenever you want.
Watch out, he has his magical machine somewhere down here where
That's
you got
right.
the VR machine.
I got the VR machine with the flashlight and the haptic bodysuit. So,
You sure it's not that machine from Burn After Reading?
which machine was that?
The fucking machine?
I didn't see it.
I turned off Burn after reading after like 10 minutes. I got bored.
That was probably the smart decision. But there was a really weird scene with George Clooney when he builds this like Home Depot fuck machine.
And
Probably the best part of the whole movie, right?
and that's going to make it to the intro. Thanks again, Marcus. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this week's episode of the Nick, Jon, and Jamie Show. Please be sure to subscribe to our show. Subscribe. And if you're tuning in on iTunes or Google Play, we're also on Stitcher, Spotify, and we do an audio version on YouTube. And if you're really digging the show, leave us some kind words and a nice review. You can also follow us on Twitter at NJJ Show, Instagram at NJJ Show, or if you are on the old school Facebooks, you can search the Nick, Jon, and Jamie Show and follow our page. Thanks again, everybody, and have a marvelous week.